Right now in 2026, there is a whole list of bills you're supposed to stop paying the day you turn 65 in this country, and yet most Americans have never once seen the entire list in one place. Some of these are government benefits hiding in plain sight, and some are tax breaks that quietly come off what you owe, whether you ask for them or not. On the other hand, there are benefits you only get if you fill out one specific form. If you miss that form, you will end up paying full price for years, while the person living two doors down stopped paying the exact day they qualified. The difference between those two people is never income. It is entirely about information. One of them was handed this list, and the other one never was. And the numbers we are talking about are not small at all. When you add up what the average senior overpays across their property tax, their Medicare premiums, their prescriptions, and the tax credits they never claim, you are very often talking about thousands of dollars a year walking out the door quietly year after year. Study after study finds the exact same thing, that billions of dollars in benefits and credits that seniors already qualify for go completely unclaimed every single year, simply because the people they belong to never knew to ask for them. This is not money the government is going to chase you down to give you. It just sits there in your name until you reach out and take it. There is one massive change that just landed in 2026 that is putting real money back into seniors' pockets automatically, and I am going to show you how to make the most of it. And the very last item on this list is completely free, but it is the master key that quietly unlocks half of all the others. It is the one thing people leave on the table the most. So, stay with me all the way to the end, because if you click away at bill number 8, you will miss the one piece that makes the rest of them actually work. My promise to you is that I am going to walk you through the complete list, the credits, the rebates, the free services, and the exemptions. For every single one, I will tell you exactly who qualifies, exactly how to claim it, and the one mistake that causes people to miss it, all in plain English. None of this is a scheme, none of it is a scam, and I am not selling you anything. This is your own government's money and programs you have already paid into your entire working life. My only job is to make sure you are actually getting them instead of leaving them behind for someone who just happened to know the right word to say on the phone. I am Walter Barron. I am a state bar licensed estate attorney with over 15 years helping families protect their homes, their savings, and what they leave behind. The thing that still bothers me most after all these years is how much of this money goes unclaimed, not because people do not qualify, but because nobody ever laid it out plainly for them. Families would sit across from my desk having paid for something for a decade that they were completely exempt from the whole time, and no one had ever told them. So here it is, laid out plainly. Stay with me whether you are 62 or 82, because most of these do not hinge on one exact birthday. If you are near retirement or you love someone who is, this list is for you. Do me one quick favor first. Tap the subscribe button so this kind of plain English money information actually finds you again, because this is exactly the kind of thing that gets buried. Let us start with the biggest check most seniors hand over every single month without blinking, the Medicare Part B premium. In 2026, that premium is $202.90 a month, and it usually comes straight out of your Social Security check before you ever see it. That is more than $2,400 a year gone before you buy a single thing. But here is what almost nobody tells you. There is a set of programs called the Medicare Savings Programs. You will hear them named QMB, SLMB, and QI. Depending on your income, your state will pay that entire Part B premium for you every single month and put that money right back into your Social Security check. Picture a retiree living on around $1,700 a month who has been letting that $200 come out for years. Enrolling in one of these programs is the exact equivalent of a $200 a month raise. The reason people miss it is simple. They assume they make too much money because the income limits they picture in their head are 20 years out of date. The real limits reach up into the $1,500 and $1,600 a month range for a single person, and even higher for a married couple. You claim it through your state Medicaid office, and here is the bonus. If you get approved for the QMB level, it does not just pay your premium, it also completely wipes out your Medicare deductibles and your copays at the doctor. Bill number 2 is the one that just changed in your favor in 2026, and it is the fresh one I promised you, your prescription drugs. Starting this year, there is a hard cap on what you pay out of pocket for covered drugs under Medicare Part D, and that cap is exactly $2,100. Once you have spent $2,100, you pay $0 for your covered prescriptions for the rest of the calendar year, and the plan picks up 100%. Think about what that means for someone on an expensive medication who just a few years ago could be paying $6,000 or $7,000 a year. Their ceiling is now $2,100, full stop. And that is completely automatic. You do not even have to apply for it. There is even an option to spread that $2,100 out in smooth monthly payments across the entire year so you are never hit with one giant bill at the pharmacy counter in January. But here's the part people miss. If your income is limited, a program called Extra Help, which is the Part D low-income subsidy, can knock your drug premiums, your deductible, and your copays down to almost nothing, long before you ever get close to that cap. It was expanded recently, so more people qualify for the full subsidy than ever before. You apply for Extra Help directly through Social Security at ssa.gov, and it is one of the single most underclaimed benefits there is. Number 3 is the one I have watched cost families the absolute most over an entire retirement, your property tax. Almost every state has a senior break built right into the law, and it goes by different names in different places. You might hear it called a Homestead exemption, a senior valuation freeze, or a circuit breaker that caps your tax at a percentage of your income. Some states will freeze the taxable value of your home the year you turn 65, so that even as the houses around you double in value, your assessment never climbs again. Imagine staying in the home you raised your family in, watching the neighborhood get more expensive every year, while your tax bill simply stops moving. Some states knock thousands of dollars right off the bill instead, and some let you defer the property tax entirely so you owe nothing right now, and it is settled quietly out of the home's value later on. You claim it at your county assessor's or treasurer's office, usually with a single one-page form. And here is the catch that quietly costs people the most. In a lot of places, you have to refile it or renew it, or it silently lapses and the full bill comes right back. So call your county, ask for the senior exemption or freeze by name, and ask the one question that actually matters. Do I have to renew this, and how often? Number 4 is a tax break you get simply for reaching age 65, and most people never once adjust their returns for it. On top of the regular standard deduction that every single taxpayer gets, the moment you turn 65, you get an extra standard deduction stacked right on top. For the 2026 tax year, that is about $2,050 more if you are single, and about $1,650 for each spouse who is 65 or older on a joint return. And this is the brand new part. For the 2025 through 2028 tax years, there is now an additional $6,000 senior deduction on top of that. That is $6,000 per person who is 65 and older, which means $12,000 for a married couple where both of you qualify, as long as your income is under $75,000 single or $150,000 married, where it begins to phase out. And the best part is, you do not have to itemize your deductions to get any of this. It stacks right onto the standard deduction. What that adds up to is thousands of dollars of your income that the government simply stops taxing, which is a very big reason why so many retirees end up owing little to nothing at all. But it only helps you if the return is actually filled out correctly to capture it, which is exactly what that free key at the end takes care of. Number 5 is a credit that almost nobody claims, and hardly anyone has even heard of, the credit for the elderly or the disabled. It is a real, long-standing IRS credit claimed on a form called Schedule R for people 65 and older with lower incomes. I want to be precise about the word credit here because it really matters. A deduction lowers the total income you are taxed on, but a credit comes straight off the tax you owe, dollar for dollar, which makes it far more powerful. The income limits on this one are tight, so it is aimed squarely at seniors living mostly on Social Security and perhaps a small pension. But for the people it fits, it can wipe out their federal tax bill entirely. The reason it goes unclaimed is that it is buried on a separate form that most people, and even some paid preparers in a hurry, simply skip over. So ask for it by name. The credit for the elderly or disabled, Schedule R. Now right about here you might be sitting there wondering something completely reasonable. If all of this is real, and every bit of it is, then why has no one ever told me? Why isn't there a letter in the mail or a phone call the day you turn 65 walking you through every single one of these? The honest answer, and the one I learned watching it happen to family after family, is that it is nobody's actual job to tell you. The county is simply not staffed to call every single homeowner and remind them to file for their exemption. Medicare is not going to phone you about the program that would pay your premium. These benefits are real, they are legal, and they are yours, but nearly every one of them is an opt-in program. You have to raise your hand and ask for it by name. The people who happen to know the names get the money, and the people who wait to be told will end up waiting forever. That is the entire reason I sit here and make these videos, so consider this your official letter in the mail. Now let us keep going because the last one is free, and it is the piece that makes half of these actually land. Number 6 is your groceries, and this one has a rule written into it specifically for you that completely changes who qualifies. If you are a senior with a limited income, you may qualify for SNAP, which is food assistance loaded onto a card you use right at the grocery store. Now, here's what seniors constantly get wrong. They run the numbers in their head, decide they make a little too much money, and they never apply. But a household with someone 60 or older is allowed to subtract their out-of-pocket medical costs, your Medicare premiums, your co-pays, and your prescriptions from the income that SNAP counts. So, a senior spending a few $100s a month on medical care can look like they make too much on paper, but actually qualify once those real costs come out of the equation. That could be a significant amount of money back on your grocery bill every single month. You apply through your state SNAP or Human Services office, and it is worth doing even if you think you are just over the line because of that medical deduction. Number 7 is your heating and cooling bill. For a senior on a fixed income, this one is not a luxury, it is a matter of safety. It is called LIHEAP, the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, and it helps pay your utility bills. In many states, it will also step in with crisis help for a furnace that dies in the middle of winter, or a summer cooling bill during a dangerous heat wave, which for an older person can genuinely be a matter of health. Seniors on fixed incomes are treated as a priority group. The one tip I will give you is to apply early in the season because it is funded in blocks, and in some places the money for the year completely runs out. You apply through your state or local LIHEAP office, and in most places you can reapply every single year. Number 8 is your phone and your internet. I want to be careful to give you the one that is actually still running. You may have heard of a program that gave a bigger internet discount a couple of years back, but that one ended. However, the original program called Lifeline is still here, and it gives you up to $9.25 a month off your phone or internet bill, and considerably more than that if you live on tribal lands. If your household income is at or below 135% of the federal poverty line, or you are already enrolled in a program like SNAP or Medicaid, you qualify. That connection matters because it means several of the items on this list open the door to each other. You apply through the National Verifier at lifelinesupport.org, or you simply ask your phone company to put you on their Lifeline plan. Number 9 is dental, vision, and hearing, the 3 things that regular Medicare famously does not cover, and the 3 things that quietly drain a senior's savings faster than almost anything else. Because a single set of dentures, a pair of glasses, and a hearing aid can run into the thousands of dollars all by themselves. So here is where to find them covered. If you qualify for Medicaid, many states cover all 3. If you are on a Medicare Advantage plan, most of those plans now include yearly dental, vision, and hearing allowances that people simply forget they have. So call your plan and ask them the exact question: what is my dental allowance, my vision allowance, and my hearing allowance this year? And make sure to use it before the year ends, because it does not roll over to the next year. Beyond that, your local senior center and any nearby dental school or school of optometry will very often do exams, cleanings, and fittings for free or for a small fraction of the normal price. Number 10 is a grab bag of everyday charges that adds up much faster than anyone expects: transit and fees. Nearly every city bus and transit system in the country has a reduced fare or even a free fare for seniors. You just have to ask for the senior card and carry it with you. Most major banks have a senior checking account with no monthly maintenance fee, no minimum balance requirement, and free checks. They will not move you over to it automatically because those fees are exactly how they make money, so you have to explicitly ask them to switch you. And then there is the simplest habit on this entire list, one that will pay you back for the rest of your life. At the pharmacy counter, at the parks, the museums, the movies, the hardware store, or the restaurant, get in the habit of asking just 4 words: do you offer a senior discount? A remarkable number of businesses have one, and a remarkable number of them never advertise it. You only get it if you ask. Number 11 is an actual second monthly check that most people never realize they can receive right on top of Social Security. It is called SSI, which stands for Supplemental Security Income. If you are 65 or older with very limited income and very limited savings, SSI pays up to $994 a month in 2026, and it can stack right on top of a small Social Security check. Think of a widow living on a very small Social Security benefit, just a few $100s, because her own work record was thin. SSI can lift her up toward that federal amount and completely change her entire month. In most states, being approved for SSI also opens the door to Medicaid automatically, which loops you straight back into the free dental, vision, and hearing care we just talked about. You apply through Social Security at ssa.gov or by calling them directly. Do not talk yourself out of it because you assume you make too much. Let them look at the numbers and tell you. And now the last one, the one I told you to stay for, because it is completely free and it is the master key that unlocks half of everything I just listed. The number 12 bill you should stop paying is a tax preparer. Think about it. Every single tax credit and deduction on this list, the extra standard deduction, the $6,000 senior deduction, the credit for the elderly on Schedule R, all of it, only ever helps you if the return is actually filled out correctly to capture it, and you do not have to pay $200, $300, or $400 to a preparer to make that happen. The IRS runs 2 free programs. One is called VITA, and the other is called TCE, which stands for Tax Counseling for the Elderly, and it specializes in exactly the situations seniors are in. Trained IRS-certified volunteers do your taxes for you from start to finish for completely free. On top of that, AARP runs its own free service called Tax Aid, set up in libraries and senior centers all across the country, and you do not even have to be an AARP member to use it. These are the very people who know exactly how to find and claim every credit I just named for you. That is the free key. The people who use it get everything else on this list filled in correctly, and the people who skip it leave serious money on the table. So here is what to do this week, because I do not want this to be another video you just nod along to and then forget by dinner time. Do 3 simple things. First, call your county and ask about the senior property tax exemption or freeze and whether you have to renew it, because that is the one that quietly resets and costs people the most. Second, if money is at all tight, call your state Medicaid office and ask about the Medicare savings programs and apply for extra help at ssa.gov, because those 2 alone can be worth several $1,000s a year to the right household. And third, before tax season arrives, book a free appointment with VITA, TCE, or AARP Tax Aid and bring this list with you. That one free visit is the thing that turns everything else on here into real money back in your pocket. This is general information to point you in the right direction, not specific tax or legal advice. Programs, amounts, and income limits do change, and they vary from state to state, so always confirm your own eligibility with the agency or with a trusted professional before you act on it. But understand this. The money is real, the programs already exist, and you paid for every single one of them over a lifetime of hard work. It is not a handout. It is yours. Now go claim it and do one more thing for me. Share this with someone over 65 who is quietly paying full price for every single one of these, because they are the ones who need to hear it the most, and no one else is ever going to call them up to tell them. I will see you in the next one.